Guy Montag is a fireman who burns books in a futuristic American metropolis. In Montag's global, firemen start fires in preference to placing them out. The humans in this society do no longer examine books, revel in nature, spend time by themselves, assume independently, or have significant conversations. As an alternative, they pressure very rapid, watch immoderate amounts of TV on wall-length units, and listen to the radio on seashell radio sets connected to their ears. Montag encounters a mild 17-year-old woman named Clarice McClellan, who opens his eyes to the emptiness of his existence along with her innocently penetrating questions and her unusual love of human beings and nature. Over the following couple of days, Montag experiences a chain of stressful events. First, his wife, Mildred, tries suicide via swallowing a bottle of napping capsules. Then, when he responds to an alarm that a vintage woman has a stash of hidden literature, the woman shocks him via selecting to be burned alive at the sight of her books. A few days later, he hears that Clarice has been killed through a dashing vehicle. Montag's dissatisfaction along with his life increases, and he starts off evolved to look for a solution in a stash of books that he has stolen from his personal fires and hidden in an air conditioning vent. When Montag fails to show up for paintings, his fire chief, Beatty, will pay a go-to to his residence. Beatty explains that it's normal for a fireman to go through a phase of thinking what books should provide, and he can provide a dizzying monologue explaining how books got here to be banned in the first vicinity. In keeping with Beatty, unique hobby agencies and different minorities objected to books that offended them. Soon, books all started to look the equal, as writers tried to avoid offending everybody. This changed into no longer enough, however, and society as a whole decided to honestly burn books instead of allow conflicting evaluations. Beatty tells Montag to take 24 hours or so to see if his stolen books comprise something profitable, after which turn them in for incineration. Montag starts a long and frenzied nighttime of reading. Crushed with the aid of the mission of analyzing, Montag looks to his wife for assistant guide, however she prefers television to her husband's business enterprise and cannot understand why he could need to take the terrible hazard of reading books. He recalls that he, as soon as met a retired English professor named Faber sitting in a park, and he decides that this man is probably capable of assisting him apprehend what he reads. He visits Faber, who tells him that the value of books lies within the particular consciousness of life that they include. Faber says that Montag desires not best books, but additionally the enjoyment to examine them and the liberty to behave upon their ideas. Faber agrees to assist Montag along with his reading, and they concoct an unstable scheme to overthrow the status quo. Faber will touch a printer and begin reproducing books, and Montag will plant books in the homes of firemen to discredit the career and to wreck the machinery of censorship. Faber gives him a radio earpiece, the Green Bullet, in order that he can pay attention what Montag hears and talk to him secretly. Montag is going home, and shortly his wife's buddies arrive to look at television. The ladies talk their households and the conflict that is approximately to be declared in an exceptionally frivolous way. Their superficiality angers him, and he's taking out a book of poetry and reads Dover Seaside with the aid of Matthew Arnold. Faber buzzes in his ear for him to be quiet, and Mildred tries to give an explanation for that the poetry reading is a popular manner for firemen to demonstrate the uselessness of literature. The girls are extraordinarily disturbed by using the poem and depart to document a complaint towards Montag. Montag is going to the hearth station and arms over certainly one of his books to Beatty. Beatty confuses Montag by way of barraging him with contradictory quotations from terrific books. Beatty exploits these contradictions to show that literature is morbid and dangerously complex, and that it deserves incineration. All at once, the alarm sounds, and they rush off to reply. The decision, simple as to discover that the alarm is at Montag's personal residence. Mildred gets right into a cab along with her suitcase, and Montag realizes that his own spouse has betrayed him. Beatty forces Montag to burn the house himself. While he is done, Beatty locations him underneath arrest. While Beatty maintains to berate Montag, Montag turns the flamethrower on his superior and proceeds to burn him to ashes. Montag knocks the other fireman subconscious and runs. The mechanical hound, an enormous machine that Beatty has set to attack Montag, pounces and injects Montag's leg with a big dose of anesthetic. Montag manages to damage it together with his flamethrower. Then he walks off the numbness in his leg and escapes with some books that have been hidden in his backyard. He hides those in any other fireman's residence and calls in an alarm from a pay cell phone. Montag is going to Faber's house, where he learns that a new hound has been put on his trail, along with numerous helicopters and a TV group. Faber tells Montag that he is leaving for St. Louis to peer a retired printer who may be capable of assist them. Montag gives Faber some cash and tells him the way to cast off Montag's heady scent from his residence so the hound will no longer enter it. Montag then takes some of Faber's empty clothes and runs off closer to the river. The entire city watches as the chase unfolds on television, but Montag manages to break out inside the river and trade into Faber's clothes to conceal his fragrance. He drifts downstream into the U.S. and follows a fixed of abandoned railroad tracks until he reveals a set of renegade intellectuals, the book Human Beings, led by way of a man named Granger, who welcome him. They are part of a national community of book enthusiasts who have memorized many outstanding works of literature and philosophy. They desire that they'll be of a few help to mankind inside the aftermath of the struggle that has just been declared. Montag's role is to memorize the Book of Ecclesiastes. Enemy jets appear within the sky and completely obliterate the city with bombs. Montag and his new friend circulate on to look for survivors and rebuild civilization.